What is going on, guys? This is SolidVault back with another video, and today I want to talk about one thing that I'm really excited about, and it's virtual reality. Anyways, so in this video I'm going to talk about what are the headsets, what prices they come in, and also when are they coming out, and what systems. So let's just begin with PC only. Right now we're going to leave PS4 quite at the end. The two biggest ones that come out of my mind is Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, also known as Steam VR. So let's start with the Oculus Rift, as it was the I guess it was the first VR system to like come out and be announced and everything like that. Back in what was January, was it? Yeah, I think it was January. They announced a pricing for the Oculus Rift, and it costs $600 US, of course. And of course it's coming out on March, by the end of March, for the people who actually pre-ordered the Rift as soon as it went live, and also for the backers. So if you're a backer from Kickstarter, they're most probably going to give you the Oculus Rift free of charge. So what includes, what does the Oculus Rift, you know, with its $600 price tag include? So it includes the headset itself, of course, with a built-in headphone, and it includes a sensor, you know, because you need it. It's basically most essential thing, and a remote in which you can use it for a Oculus Cinema, which is like its own kind of hub, and cables, of course, the Xbox One controller, Valkyrie, and Lucky's Tale. Of course, this is a pre-order version. If you bought the Oculus Rift, you know, on launch day, when it's like on the shelves, you're most probably going to get only Lucky's Tale. It's going to be included in every Oculus headset. And at the end of this video, I'll definitely, you know, leave my opinions and if you should buy this VR, or if you should wait it out. So let's go with what the Oculus Rift needs. So in terms of GPU, it needs a GTX 970 or an AMD R9 290 or higher. I'm actually building my own PC from now on, and one of my graphics card is a GTX 980 Ti VR edition. And if you're a guy who's also, you know, building his PC or upgrading his PC, I would recommend going for a 980 Ti. Either if you have a 5.25 drive bay, it's because, you know, this 980 Ti VR edition does have it like an internal HDMI that you can connect it and then put it out, put it like in a drive bay, and it would act like another USB and an HDMI port. I think it is a really cool thing. Some of you guys may dislike that, you know, but it's all up to you. So like the equivalent between like the VR edition and the normal 980 Ti is $50. You know, the VR edition is $700, while the normal was $650. So I guess, you know, the extra $50 for me is nothing. If it's to you, you don't want it, just go with it. You know, just go with what you want. Now in the CPU side, you would need an Intel i5 4590 or greater. I recommend going for an i7. It's just because it's a better overall CPU, and you know, if you're a budget PC guy, definitely go for an i5 with what the Oculus needs. You know, it's all up to you, but I am definitely going for an i7 4790K. It's definitely better than an i5 4590 apparently. And in terms of memory, well, I'm pretty sure this is just a stupid thing. It's 8GB plus RAM. I mean, like, who owns less than 8GB? Unless he has unless you're a laptop guy, and you know, you have like a mid-range laptop with like 4GB of RAM. Most people in the world probably own like 8GB, 16GB, 32, even 64GB of RAM. And of course, video output, you need an HDMI port. So, you know, if you have a graphics card like a Titan X or 90 Ti already compatible with the Oculus, you're gonna sacrifice an HDMI port in terms of that. If you're a guy who uses the HDMI port for your TV, then you're gonna have to try to find like a VGA or a display port, you know, a monitor that at least you could like see what's going on with the Oculus itself or the VR. And of course, in terms of USB ports, 3 USB 3.0 and 1 USB 2.0. 3 is basically for the sensor, the Oculus Rift itself, and I think it was either third one would be the Oculus Touch, or it's just going to be another USB port for Oculus Rift itself. And also for the USB 2.0, it's pretty much basic. It's for the Xbox One controller. I think I only own Xbox controller. It's pretty much, you know, pointless to me. And for an OS, you would need a Windows 7 Service Pack 1 64-bit or newer. Most people I know either have like Windows 7 or Windows 10. So Steam VR, in February 29, they revealed the pre-orders, and they opened the pre-orders pretty much, and it costs $800. It was so close to 1,000, and it's still, you know, it's $200 more than the Oculus Rift, and I was like, wow, that is way too much. Okay, but here's the thing where I could just be lenient about the the HTC Vive. One of the things that if you have pre-ordered the HTC Vive on February 29, you know, you're one of the first people to pre-order it. It'll come out like in early April. It was kind of 1 week after Oculus Rift, and you know, they gave some fans out there. If you can look on YouTube, a lot of YouTubers do have the HTC Vive. So Steam, send me a HTC Vive, please. Thank you. All right. Anyways, you know, what does it include? It includes two sensors, and of course, those sensors are not just, you know, hang it on in front of your desk and that's it. They're like, you know, you have to actually place them at your room and let it, you know, basically it's the motion sensor for basically what HTC Vive would be. So it's much more superior than Oculus Rift in terms of how the variety of gameplay it has. You know, the HTC Vive, you know, if you think that it's going to be only standing up and using the motion sensor and moving around your room, it's not gonna be just that. Actually, if you look at some VR games at Steam itself, they do have like an option of saying, oh, Steam VR sitting, and then it can be played while you're sitting or while you're playing, you know, in a room. And that is really good, and it's really cool feature to have. So it comes in with two sensors, I already said it, and it comes in with two motion controllers, in which is basically you would use it for the room or even while you're sitting. And of course the headset itself. Those are the things that are coming out for $800. Unlike in Oculus side, you know, Oculus had plans for the Oculus Touch, but they delayed it, and it's coming out like, you know, way later. What are the requirements? Do you need a beastie PC to play this? Yes, you do. It is exactly the same as the Oculus Rift. A game that totally sold me on Steam VR. I was like, yo, this is the future. It impressed me so much. Is Budget Cuts. Budget Cuts is basically like a spy game where you're like inside of a company and try to sneak in, and it's really awesome. You know, like you would use one gun as a teleporter, and the other would basically like pick up stuff, and use like throwing knives and stuff like that. It's so freaking cool. You're gonna see like some gameplay over here, and also just look at a lot of other there are people who played the game, and you should definitely see it. And you know, also one of the games called Job Simulator. Now you may think when you hear the title of the game is like, oh, it's a stupid simulator game like Goat Simulator or Bear Simulator, you know, like these stupid kind of simulation games that become widely popular. No, this game actually is pretty cool. You know, you're like in an office. It scans, of course, your room, and you can walk around, put in stuff, type in, use your mouse. It's so freaking cool. Let's move on to the last and pretty much interesting one. Well, most of them are interesting. All VR headsets are awesome, but I think this will be the most successful one, and it's the PSVR. Sony recently came out and said that it's coming out on October of 2016, of course, and it costs $400, $200 less than the Oculus Rift, and half the price of the HTC Vive. And I'm really sorry to see a pattern over here. You know, the Oculus Rift is $200 less than the HTC Vive, and then the PSVR is $200 also less than the Oculus Rift. I don't know, it's just kind of a pretty funny thing to see. But I'm showing you here the new picture they showed up just now, in which what are the box contents of the PSVR. Of course, you got the manual over here. As you can see, PlayStation VR, then a white box. I don't know if you can see well, it's just really white. It's probably the box of the whole headset itself. And then you can see like the cables, it's really long to the headset. And then an earphone, it's basically for people who don't have like an earphone or like a headset. They would use the PSVR for like maximum immersion. There is a headphone jack, just like how the HTC Vive provides. You know, in order to so you can put in your headset, your earphones or headset, whatever. Of course, you got like cables, HDMI, and a lot of other, just so many cables that I don't know how it will probably manage. But as you can see here, there's like a small kind of box. It's the shape of a PS4. This is the processing box in which it does most of the work. It helps push the PS4 to do more with VR than it usually does. And let me just show up another picture over here. And this is the front of box, in which it kind of looks like, let me just zoom in here. There's like an HDMI port, and then you've got another port over here. It's probably for this is where it goes to the headset, and then this is at the back side of it. It does have a fan over here, and then you've got a micro USB place, 2 HDMI. I don't know, is this like one for the PS4 and then the other for the TV? It's like a link box, just like how the HTC Vive does it, or is it like an extra USB for possibly, I don't know, like another headset? Probably not. You know, the last thing probably isn't real. And then you've got the, I think it's the power over here, like right next to the fan over here, which I don't know. And these are just really low quality pictures that I found on the internet. I'm pretty sure you're gonna find like much better qualities. Also, I'd like to note that PlayStation VR does require a camera, and it's not coming with it. I'm kind of pissed off with that. It's really kind of stupid for Sony to keep it out. They did announce that they're going to have a PlayStation VR camera and controller bundle. So, you know, I would recommend going out and buying one now, so at least, you know, the supply couldn't really just go away before October, September, like that. You know, and also go buy yourself a PlayStation Move. Try to buy like a used one or even new one, because there are some experiences in PlayStation VR that require the PlayStation Move to be played. So let's head on to what games are on the PS4. There are a lot of games, The things that I'm going to list is probably Job Simulator, just like I said in the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive part of the video. And also there will be PlayStation VR World, in which it's like an accumulation of a lot of games, like the London Heist is what it's pretty much the more interesting one. And then you've got like a kind of a board skate, I don't know what's that called, but board skating VR simulator. And then you've got also Playroom VR, where it's really cool. You know, it's basically that people would look at the TV differently than you would look, you know, like say for example, you're gonna see like some gameplay over here where there's like a monster wearing a headset. That's the player who wears the headset and tries to like destroy stuff and stuff like that, and then the players would try to beat him up and stuff like that. It could extend the party system, you know, the way you can play your games. We can see a lot of interesting games in the future that, you know, have like these VR mixed in with 2D kind of gameplay. It's really interesting. I really would like to see what would happen in the future of VR. Of course, this is coming free of charge. The Playroom VR is coming free of charge with the PlayStation VR. You just need to download it from PlayStation Store, and that's it. I think there's a disc where like it has a lot of experiences, both interactive and non-interactive, so possibly like a cinematic you know, experience and stuff like that. And another also an awesome VR experience, in which I am simply excited for, in which it is Star Wars Battlefront VR experience. They are going to make a VR version of Star Wars Battlefront. That is amazing. I can't wait to see what are they going to do. Possibly we're gonna see some gameplay in E3 2016, you know, because basically E3 is like the biggest thing, or Gamescom, you know. But we'll see what the future holds for PlayStation VR and all of the games for it. Alright, so we've come to the end of the video, in which what do I prefer, which VR system. I am simply going to buy an HTC Vive just because it's you know, a room kind of VR thing. It's really cool, and I have a pretty spacey place. I think, you know, the HTC Vive is much more adjusted to me. But you know, write down in the comments, which VR headset are you gonna take? Are you gonna take the Oculus Rift or HTC Vive, or you're gonna pass them all and buy a PS4 and buy the PlayStation VR? Alright, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe to all the games, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.